Welcome to STSPN's production here of the 2018 Washington State High School Girls Lacrosse Championship. It's the Mercer Island Islanders and Bainbridge Island Spartans. Scott Oshman joined with Brianna Roach tonight to bring you all the action right here from Starfire Complex, just about 20-30 minutes south of downtown Seattle. Brianna, how are you tonight?
I'm great. It's a great night for lacrosse. Happy to be here.
Weather decent. We've had a nice spring here, and we have hopefully a great lacrosse girls state championship. Bainbridge Island, they come in, boy, they've been here. This is their 20th appearance in the state championship game. They've won 9 of them. Their head coach, a Hall of Famer, Tammy Tomala, she's been there for all 9. She's been there for all 20. She's looking for their 10th state championship, and they've got some extraordinary talent this year. Coming in 15-0, 6-0 in conference. Somewhat easy win on Tuesday night in the semifinals. They had some struggles, though, at points, but they won and beat Bellevue 18-4. On the other side, you have Mercer Island. Now, they have not been here since 2004. Great story on that later. Their head coach, Lindsay Gillis. This is her second year at Mercer Island, her first time coaching in a state championship. They won Tuesday night and an absolute barn burner over Snohomish. It was 8-8, all tied up, had to go into overtime on a free position to get to the state championship game. They come in 14-1, 5-0 in conference out of the Snoqualmie Conference here. Their one loss to Bainbridge by 7, and we'll talk about that as we are getting ready for action tonight. Real quickly, Brianna, and you know lacrosse, playing at Johns Hopkins, a captain, associate head coach at UMass. You came out here last year, now this past year, the head coach at Lakeside High School. Let's talk about Mercer Island as we get ready for the draw. What are the big keys here for the Islanders?
Yeah, I think for Mercer Island, they really are and have been improving all season. They are on a high in a lot of ways. They've gotten better every single game. They've got a lot of momentum. They're coming off a big win. They've got to sustain that momentum, sustain that confidence, and come out hard. These draw controls are going to be crucial here in gaining as many offensive possessions as possible because that Bainbridge Island has a strong defense. So if they can control the draw and they can get multiple offensive possessions throughout the game, then I think they've got a pretty dynamic offense on their end.
We are now underway, a redraw there, and at the circle is number 22 for Bainbridge. Bainbridge in the white tonight, Mercer Island in their maroon. And that's Mackenzie Chapman, the senior midi. She's heading to Stanford next year. Just an All-American. She is just, you keep going. She has 85 draw controls through the season, and she's facing off against Tessa Guerra, the other senior attacker. Not usually on the draw circle as we restart. And it's picked up by Fujinaga, number 5. She had the winning goal, the free position to get here to the championship game, and we're underway. Number 14 just had the ball. That's one of their huge scorers, Brodsky. And that's got state jitters right here as it's out of bounds, and it's going to go right to Bainbridge. And that's what Lindsay Gillis before the game, like, we cannot afford to beat ourselves.
Turn over the ball. That's right.
So it'll go on the stick of one of the best goalies in the state this year. That's Twee Ortiz. She's just a junior. And she was extraordinary on Tuesday night, 11 of 15, 73% save in the win against Bellevue as Bainbridge now bringing it down.
Now, Bainbridge can be pretty dynamic out of their defensive transition. So Mercer Island's really got to contain them here. They've got a good running game, they've got a good passing game, and they tend to attack the cage right out of that transition. So Mercer Island's doing a good job this rep of sort of curbing that offensive transition.
Mercer Island, they got the draw control, couldn't get anything out of it, and there's Maggie Sweeney. She's kind of just the engine there, number 13. Is going to go play in Pomona next year as they get it out wide. Up top, that's Kendall Havel. Her older sister played last year in this championship game. They lost to Eastside
nice
Catholic,
drive.
and there is Havel.
That's a great drive down the alley.
Shoots and scores. She had 3 goals in the championship last year that they lost to Eastside Catholic, 11-16, and I'm sure she's hungry to get it going, and they do 1-0.
She is, and she's one of the team's leading scorers right now with 46 goals and 14 assists, so she's a powerhouse. They've got to contain her and keep an eye out for her, especially on her drives from up top, because she is a powerful player.
5 goals versus Bellevue in the semifinal win. She scored 5 goals 4 times this season, and they're up 1-0, and this is exactly what head coach Lindsey Gillis was talking about. And it's a game of runs. You can't get too excited here, but I think she wants to keep this thing within 2 or 3 goals.
Okay, draw control.
And it's
Controlled by
picked up,
Bainbridge Island.
and that's Maggie Sweeney. She is a vacuum out there. Gets it quickly over to King. Another pass. Yeah. Shoot and score just like that to Abby Reebsman. Tic-tac-toe, and they went it in.
Great look inside out of transition. And this is where draw controls it becomes really important. You have that much more offensive possessions off of the draw. So these draw controls are going to be critical here.
14 goals on the season for the sophomore Abby Reebsman. And talking to Tammy Tomlin before the game, she talks last year she had a lot of freshmen getting a lot of very good experience. Right. Abby being one of those, and she puts it in. And 2-0. We're just starting here, 23-12 in the first half. Glad you're with us here, the 2018 Washington State Girls High School Lacrosse Championship.
Another
and
draw
Sweeney
control. Bainbridge Island.
Finds Chapman.
Inside.
Chapman inside King.
Oh, it's almost an identical play, too. They're pushing it hard out of transition, looking for that low crease player. They're playing a fast game here, Bainbridge Island, to start.
And that was Havel again there with the ball. Now it's Chapman at the free position. Center hash. Going against this young goalie. Hits the pipe. Picked up by Mercer Island. That's Fujinaga. And there's a call.
Great hustle there by Fujinaga. She really pushed through that ground ball. Good defensive play by her.
The Mercer Island goalie, a sophomore, Chloe Mbarjolu, just her second year playing goalie at all. And here comes Mercer Island trying to get back, and that's Grace Fujinaga, number 5. And they clear it through the midfield nicely and see if they can set it up. Their second offensive real position here in their third, Brianna, trying to get something going. They had an errant pass their first time. And now they're going to slow it down. And that's another thing Lindsay wanted them to do, is slow it down, be patient.
Mm-hmm.
There's Katie Brodsky heading to Arizona State next year. Number 14 goes low. Ball's on the ground, and Bainbridge come up with it. Great job there, and that was Gisela Gonzalez. Number 15 of the ground ball as Ortiz gets it out. Tessa Guerra had the right idea, and there's a little bump there by Claire Underwood.
Bainbridge Island now bringing the ball up out of transition. Mercer Island's getting some pretty good pressure on ball here, trying to slow down that offensive transition like we had talked about earlier.
33 in white, Iaria. Hey, she's an all-conference player coming through, and now it's off to Abby Reebsman, who already has 1 goal tonight. Back of the cage. Rolls, looks. Now she'll reset there to Havel. Just the opening minutes here. Havel already has 1, one-on-one. Now they double. Gets by but goes behind. Now they'll reset. Now this is back over number 13. That's Sweeney. And Sammy Bender, the Mercer Island defender, the senior there, I think, getting called. Our officials tonight on the field: Jeanette Wake, Saring Short, Edith Harris, and Jamie Weaver at the table. Sweeney coming around the circle here. Now, if you're Mercer Island, Brianna, you already gave up 2. They pull the double. What do you want to focus here?
Yeah, for Mercer Island here.
There's a big save there
nice save
by Chloe.
That's a great save.
Right on the doorstep.
I think Mercer Island's got to focus on shutting down some of these top players here on Bainbridge Island. Mackenzie Chapman, we've talked about her.
There's a shot from an unsuspecting somewhat. That's Eleanor King, the midi. She has 16 goals on the season.
So shutting down a couple of those top kids, Mackenzie Chapman, Kendall Havel, Maggie Sweeney, trying to shut down their dodging game. They are great dodgers, especially from up top. So in an attempt to do that, it appears as if Mercer Island's sending some doubles on ball to slow those couple of kids down. So trying to contain some of those better players, force them to play a passing game because they've got some strong dodgers from up top.
They're attacking very inside the 8 there, close up. They're getting a lot of space inside there, so they're able to make those quick passes in a very close quarters as 3-0 Bainbridge here with 19:27 left to go in the first quarter. Scott Oshman, Brianna Roach here with you from Starfire Complex in Seattle. Mercer needs a draw
50-50
control.
Ball.
And Chapman comes up with it.
Draw control by Chapman. She is a powerhouse on the field, and she's a powerhouse on the draw. She's really going to control this game off those draw controls.
Reevesman. Now it's broken up by Mercer Island. It's picked up by the goalie, but a great play by Abby Reevesman.
I appreciate that hustle by that goalie, though. Coming out, playing that ball like that, taking a risk. I think that's the appropriate risk to take there, and unfortunately it didn't go her way, but that was a nice aggressive play there by that goalie.
Mercer Island able to break up the pass. They had a shot there to get a turnover, and Barjolu, the goalie, came out, as you said, and heady play there by Abby Reevesman to go and check it out of her stick. She becomes a player when she's out. There's another opportunity. Sweeney tries to go inside, misses the pass, but there's Bainbridge to pick it up. And that one sails over.
Unforced error. This will help Mercer Island. They need an offensive possession right now and to regain some momentum here. This is a big offensive possession for these guys.
Eleanor Collins there. Just a little too much sauce on that ball. Here's Mercer Island. They get trying to bring it up here on the near side. Julia Nordstrom, she was here.
Good pressure on ball. Bainbridge Island's got a really aggressive ride here, so Mercer Island's got to be careful here clearing the ball up. They tend to swarm that ball and get a good double, sometimes triple team on ball, so I think that's going to be telling of whether or not they're causing some turnovers in the midfield.
3-0 Bainbridge. They've only been tested really against this team when they played in the regular season. Now their goalie, Tui Ortiz, did not play in that game, and they won relatively handily at Mercer Island. As you see the Islanders here out front now, Bainbridge coming to double and attack a little bit. Shops out there kind of running. There's Fujinaga. And get Katie Brodsky. That's their leading goal scorer, and she's
hard double on ball. Let's see if they can pull it off. She's able to move that ball.
Guerra, number 2 with it now. Looking for an opportunity. Nice
There's inside look.
Fujinaga.
Great take by Fujinaga.
Shooting space called. She'll go to the line here, the 8-meter, and a shot here to bring it to get them on the board.
Fujinaga, another powerful player out here. She can do a lot of damage out of transition. She can do a lot of damage on the offense. So let's see how she
there
does
she
here.
goes.
Nice shot, nice flow shot.
Same exact center hash where she won in overtime on Tuesday night and got the Islanders here. And her first goal tonight, all-conference player. 42 goals on the season. And Grace Fujinaga here, the junior midi, gets Mercer Island on the board, 16-21 to go in this first half. A couple of these Mercer Island kids, Brianna, they were here and they lost in the semifinals to Lake Sammamish right here at this complex, 8-10. And I'm sure some of those kids, Claire Underwood, who's a senior now, Julian Nordstrom was on that team, Katie Brodsky was on that team. So good experience from them. They've never been in the state championship. They have not won a state championship. And there's a draw control by King. Reebsman shot, save.
Great save.
And another one. Collins tried a shot, a great save there by Mbarjolu. The sophomore playing big so far.
So that's a shot out of bounds. Ball goes to closest player to the out of bounds line. So that is Mercer Island. They're coming up with the ball here. That's a great hustle play. That's causing a turnover, and now they've got another offensive possession here.
Chloe Mbarjolu now, she has 10 seconds before she has to get out of that goalie circle. And so she walks it up here looking for help. And this is always dangerous for the goalies as she gets farther and farther out. Great story here. The assistant coach, Kelly Nakata, been working with Chloe here, this goalie, and she's been in the program for a long, long time. As a matter of fact, the last time Mercer Island was in the state champions, now they come after her. She wisely identifies it and gets it out to the far side of the field where Kate Wheeler can work it.
Great composure by that goalie. This is a big game. A lot of times that kind of pressure on a goalie can get you rattled, and she handled that well and was very well composed in that situation there.
Assistant coach Kelly Nakata, the last time Mercer Island was here in 2004 in the state championship game, they lost to Bainbridge. She was the goalie. So she knows exactly
That's right.
how to get this team going. They're only down by 2 here, 3-1 with 14:32 left in the first half. Guerra with it, number 2, out front. In their last offensive possession, they did a nice job being patient and found that alley, that lane up front where Grace Fujinaga, they dared them to double. As Guerra looking for a cutter. Now she pulls back. One thing Lindsay Gillis was talking about before the game is she wants her offense. She wants to move. She understands they play a very similar defense. She wants movement, off ball.
Bainbridge Island very disciplined in their defense here. They're not creating a lot of offense for this team, so they're making it hard for these guys to create scoring opportunities.
Here's Hannah, number 35. She tries it. Tiscornia there, a freshman. She had a goal versus Bainbridge Island in their regular season game. That was a loss. (17-4) at Mercer Island. Inside, Guerra.
Good look inside.
Pull it back out. Good decision here. Patience by Mercer Island. Fujinaga driving on the right side. Shoots. It's saved by Tui. Guerra in the mix, and it's picked up by Brodsky.
Nice 50-50 ball there. Good hustle by Brodsky there.
$66 goals for Katie Brodsky. Guerra.
Here
seeing
comes
what
double team.
the
Move
defense.
Ball.
Back out, only one loss this year for Mercer Island, and it was to the Spartans here at Bainbridge Island. As Bainbridge 15-0, 6-0 in their Metro Conference. Guerra working it.
Nice
Finds a
look
wide
inside.
open.
Wow.
What a pass and a play. Claire Underwood puts it through. What an assist.
It's a great look by Guerrera there. Had her eyes up, saw that inside look, inside player. I think that's going to be the looks that they're going to be looking for in this game, of trying to get some of that backside play going.
Claire Underwood, again, the senior, 20 goals on the season. That's a big one, and we're 1-goal lead here for Bainbridge Island, 3-2, and it's a lot of that hustle 50-50 Katie Brodsky in the middle of the eight.
Right.
She made it happen and saved the possession.
A lot of times those 50-50 balls win games. Ground balls cause turnovers. Those give you more offensive possessions, and ultimately you need as many offensive possessions as you can get in a game like this. So we should be keeping an eye out for how these 50-50 scenarios work out, especially considering these draw controls.
Chapman in the white for Bainbridge at the draw circle one more time. Only has 85 draw controls. She's second in the league there. And there's a call, Jeanette Wake. And that's a restraining line violation.
So until the ball is picked up by one team or another, you cannot cross over that 30-yard line until possession has been established by one team. If you cross over the line before that ball control has been established, it does go to the opposing team. So in this scenario here, it looks like Bainbridge Island went over the line before the possession was gained, and ball is going to Mercer Island.
It's in the stick of number 5, Grace Fujinaga. She has 1 goal on the free position tonight. She's doubled, running into trouble on the far side. There's a cross in the sphere. A horizontal stick, the official call, and she'll reset. So Mercer Island has a nice couple times here, nice possessions, as they were down 3-0 early. And a young team, sometimes you can get rattled here, and they've held the composure very nicely. Mercer Island getting to the state championship game. They've never won one. Here in 2004, they have gotten close. Lost to Snohomish in 2017, last year in the quarterfinals, 4-13, as Tiscornia checks it outside, back out to Brodsky.
And Mercer Island is playing a very methodical offense right now. They are patient. They are looking for good opportunities. And ultimately, that's keeping the score down. Score's 3-2 right now. There's 10 minutes left on the clock. And these guys are playing a close game. It also is a game that may be a little uncomfortable for that Bainbridge Island team, because they play a very fast game. And they are aggressive, and they haven't had many opportunities because a lot of times been getting taken off the clock with these long offensive possessions.
And that's a great point, because you look through the season this year, Bainbridge and the great Tui Ortiz, their goalie, with just a ridiculous save percentage of 64%. She doesn't get a lot of shots because her defense is so good and their offense is so quick. Only 106 in the season, one of the lowest of any goalie who's played 600 minutes or more. So that's a combination of a great goalie and a good defense.
That's right.
Mercer Island still possession. Claire Underwood, the senior, already has one tonight on a great dish. As they bring it back out, they will kill as much clock as possible here with the ball in their stick. And it's about making good decisions, as there's 8:52 left here in the first half. And let me tell you, Bainbridge wants a state title. Tammy Tomla, she's been here 20 times, but she wants her 10th.
That's right.
Brodsky driving on the right, thinks about it, shoots and scores!
Great drive by Brodsky right down that alley. Found that right over that goalie's shoulder on that high shot.
And we are tied up at 8:33. Brodsky had a tough angle on the right. She got the defender right on her shoulder, and she puts it in.
Now these draw controls have really been 50-50. There hasn't been one team that seems to be coming up with it more than another. So this always promises for an interesting game. Sort of been going back and forth on this draw control here, so this is going to be a big draw for both teams here.
Brodsky, she has scored 6 goals 4 times this season. She hasn't had a huge in the semifinals. She didn't have to. It was very a team effort, and like we talked about, the keys of the game, and that's something Lindsay Gillis talked about, and also Tammy Tomlow understands very well. You don't have to key on one person, one player. If you shut down Brodsky, Guerra can hurt you, Fujinaga.
That's right.
Balanced scoring. Not that Bainbridge doesn't have that as well, but we are all tied up at 8:45. Critical draw control one more time. 50-50, a lot of white shirts. And there's Chapman.
Chapman coming up with the draw control there.
Chapman driving, still going.
So it looks like they're calling her for cradling in the sphere. So essentially you can't cradle that stick near your face or near your throat. Otherwise it goes to the other team.
That is a rule I have struggled with, I have to tell you, throughout the last few years. I understand the safety side of it. Tiscornia there at 35 when it gets back to Brodsky.
Yeah, it stems from a place without having the headgear.
Yeah.
When you're cradling it in the sphere, it creates a competitive advantage for the offensive player. So
now, obviously, not only lacrosse, but you're telling me you grew up playing ice hockey. You saw Twee come out trying to get a cause turnover there. She does that. Very athletic goalie. But they didn't have cradling in the sphere. They didn't stick.
Not.
None of that in ice hockey.
I did not.
So now, Mercer Island, a little slow cooking. That's kind of out of the recipe book in some ways of Bainbridge Island. They are known over the years to stall as they should and do. It's maddening as a defensive team when you don't have a shot clock. We'll get into that. Brodsky goes underneath.
Oh.
Now the pass not caught, and it's picked up by Maggie Sweeney for Bainbridge.
Now Maggie Sweeney hustles in between the 30s. She is one of those 50-50 players like we were talking about earlier. She comes up with those ground balls, she comes up with those draw controls, and that gives her team that many more offensive possessions. Collins
with it, number 6, right through the midfield. Gets it into the offensive side, and they'll set it up. Maggie Sweeney, I call her a baller because she has got a tremendous engine. She is always going 100%.
She is fast.
Very quick. She's going to be playing at Pomona next year. Chapman, though, on the right side. Now they choose to double behind the cage.
Now Chapman's a playmaker for these guys. She has a big role as a dodger, but she also is a playmaker. So they're working hard to contain her and to minimize the offense she creates for that team.
Reevesman with 1 goal already. Back out to Sweeney. They take care of it. 5:55 left in this first half, 25-minute halves. Now they set up a play in ISO. Sweeney on the right side as there's a whistle on the field.
And that's leaving Eleanor Collins open inside the 8.
It is.
Defense went to go help out and slide up to the ball, and that's leaving a wide open shot here for our Bainbridge Island.
Right on 12-meter, you called it. They tried to get a great play there by Hannah.
Tip. And they get the ball back. Again, here's that number 13, Sweeney,
Maggie Sweeney. She
coming up with those 50-50s.
She's one of those, she knows where the ball is. She always seems to be right around it. Havel spinning. She had the first goal for Bainbridge tonight. Now goes behind the cage to X back there. Waiting for Chapman. A tough assignment for Kate Wheeler, the senior defender, all-conference player, as there's a whistle and a stop right now. 3 seconds again.
So that 3 seconds call, you cannot stay within that 8 meter without marking an offensive player within a 6 length. So it looks like that number 1 was called for being in that 8 meter without having an offensive player to mark.
Havel working, and now Sweeney thinks attacks and goes back. Now drives, picks it back to Havel, and Havel swings and pushes it through. Boy, harken back to the pick and roll in basketball. That's a two-player game right there.
Yeah, and Maggie Sweeney too on that play. I mean, to be aggressive and also to be able to get her hands free and make that play, it's pretty impressive to do that in such a tight space. And these guys are dynamic. This Bainbridge Island team, they've got a number of offensive threats. That's going to be the hardest part of playing against an offense like this is if you take out 1 player, 2 player, their 3rd, 4th, 5th kid, they are good. And so I think they're going to be hard once they get into that settled offense.
They go up by 1. They had a 3-goal lead. Maggie Sweeney, the radar is always on. 44 assists through this year coming into tonight. She can score as well, so that's what, as a defender, you can't let her go. You can't pull back. And she just has a knack for the ball and finding the open player.
Ooh, that's going to be early on that number 2 there. So
Guerra
move before she blew the whistle. So this is going to be a Bainbridge Island ball.
Chapman comes up with it. Right back to work here with 4:14 left in the first half. 1-goal lead. Here's Sweeney with it. Just talked about her. Mackenzie Chapman heading to Stanford next year, as there's a whistle. And did I see 3 seconds one more time?
Looks like that must be 3 seconds.
Julian
there as well.
Nordstrom, number 15 going back. Spins it around. There's Havel to her older sister. There's a wide open Bainbridge player, number 14. That's Bella Jackson. Wide open right in the center. That gives your goalies, boy.
Yeah, that's tough to save.
Great.
That's a high percentage shot opportunity. There's not much that you can do as a goalie in that scenario.
Great feed, great look as well. Now they build back up to that 2-goal lead. Scott Oshman, Brianna Roach here with you from Starfire Complex just south of Seattle, the 2018 state championship. Last year, we've had a couple twofers. Eastside Catholic won it last year and the year before, and before that, it was Issaquah who did the repeat, and so we're looking for a new champion here tonight, Mercer Island or Bainbridge. Mercer Island, a big draw control for Brodsky. She's got 107 through the season. Weaving. Nice. Brodsky tries to take a shot. It's good save by
It's going to be Bainbridge Island ball, transitioning upfield. Sweeney now with the ball down in the defensive end.
Right back to Twee Ortiz.
We got some pressure on the goalie here.
She's out of the goal circle, so she can be played as a field player. 3 minutes left. Boy, Mercer Island, decent attack there by Brodsky.
Yeah.
She had a good window as Bainbridge brings it back up. Noel Perry has trouble with the pass there, but it's a great pickup by Gonzalez.
Mercer Island is doing a good job in these last 10 minutes of really putting on that full court press in their ride. They're putting a lot of pressure on these guys, and they haven't really given up too many transitional goals. They're forcing them to play it settled.
Bainbridge in control here now. King loses it, but Collins right there to pick it up. And now Mercer Island, they'll retreat and get back and set up on their defense.
It looks like they've got a face guard on number 22, Chapman.
Yep.
It looks like they're trying to take her out of the game, so they're having that denying her the ball in an attempt to take her out of the offense.
Under 2 minutes, the official clock is down at the table.
Chapman now with the ball. Looks like Fujinaga is matched up against her. One of the Mercer Island's stronger players, so this should be a good matchup here between the two of these guys.
Fujinaga, just a junior, hasn't quite figured out if she's going to play lacrosse yet at the next level. Probably have some opportunities as Chapman now the right side. Bakes it, she's going to crease, roll. She is met by a lot of maroon jerseys. Finds an open Collins, but there's a whistle before the pass. And 3 seconds one more time. That's not a call I see all the time, very often. So 3 times already tonight as Chapman pulls it back out beyond the 12. Sweeney working around the top there. Havel has as many as her number 2 tonight so far. She, one of those sophomores, horizontal stick. That's been a big emphasis here in the state of Washington this year. Brianna, I know you coached at Lakeside here. You saw that.
Yeah, horizontal stick. So it essentially what it is stick to body contact on the offensive player, lowering your stick so that it's horizontal to their body, and then engaging and displacing that offensive player.
Brodsky gets called for that. Bella Jackson, who has a goal here tonight, the junior, with the ball and the shot,
nice,
and save by Chloe Mbarjolu.
Chloe is an athletic goalie, I will say that. She is good on some of these low saves here. She's been really athletic and has moved very quickly in cage to be able to make some of those saves.
Shooting space, the call, and sets up another free position shot just outside the 8. Waiting here, setting it up. And Brianna will talk about what shooting space is here. As Collins goes in, it's blocked and picked up and shot and scored again by Havel. Her 3rd, the hat trick there. That's the rebound and the putback.
Yeah, so our shooting space calls, essentially what our shooting space is if you're a defender and you're not marked within a stick's length of an offensive player, you cannot obstruct that path to cage. So essentially what happened there is that defender came up, obstructed that path to cage, interfered with her ability to get off a shot. Now this can only happen within the 8 meter, which forced a defensive penalty there.
Just setting up free position shots. That was a great block by the defense and a hustle rebound by Havel there. Right place, right time. The midi sophomore. She missed 1 game this year, and she's still second leading scorer with 46. Also 28 ground balls through the season. So Chapman here.
It looks like we've got 36 seconds left in our half here. So we've got these last 36 seconds are really going to define some momentum, and this is exactly what this Mercer Island team needs.
Brodsky, Fujinaga driving, left goes right,
yes.
She scores!
And that's what they needed. They really needed that draw control, and they also, to be aggressive to cage and take that risk, that was the right risk to take. That really changes the momentum here going into the second half.
The all-conference Fujinaga has been hot as hot. She started getting warmed up Tuesday night in that late game, and then she was the dagger, the 8 meter that got them to the state championship. So Grace Fujinaga there, and great job by Brodsky, got the inside position on Sweeney or King, I'm not sure, on that draw control, and that set it up, and Grace did the rest.
Now it looks like Mercer Island has changed up their drawer. They're having Fujinaga draw here. So this will be interesting to see how these two match up here. Both great athletes, both pretty powerful. And it looks like there's 23 seconds left on our clock.
23 seconds. You're not going to see that on the screen here as it's taken down at the
Bainbridge
table.
Island
And
ball.
once again, Chapman just a beast on the draw control. And here she comes. She knows the time. Great catch there by Havel. Goes inside.
Oh, great look
and
inside.
a goal.
Wow.
Abby Reevesman again in the right place. A great cut.
That's right.
And Havel finds her, and she puts it through.
And that's the kind of ball movement that is dangerous. 3 players involved in that play. Chapman and Havel making that initial play, being able to end on that in-tight shot. That team can be dangerous off that draw and out of transition.
7-4 Bainbridge, and just when you thought Mercer Island, the Islanders had a quick goal.
Mercer Island's got to answer here. They don't want to allow Bainbridge Island this momentum going into the second half. They've got to take a risk and go to cage here and try and put one more in before the end of the half.
If you can do it, I can do it better. Chapman one more time. Guerra back on the circle. There's a redraw.
And that was a redraw. The ball did not go over the drawer's shoulder, so that's going to be an illegal draw there. They're gonna do a redraw on this one.
Brodsky matched up there on the circle with King for Bainbridge Island. Tessa Guerra with Chapman. It goes up, and Brodsky has an eye on it. I thought she had it, but King comes up with it. Eleanor King, the sophomore. And that is the first half.
Competitive half there. I mean, pretty evenly matched between those two teams. Mercer Island, I think, contained it offensively. They slowed the game down. They limited the offensive possessions that Bainbridge Island had, and they kept this score pretty close.
The state championship on the line. Mercer, they're going for their first. Bainbridge, they want one more time. Tammy Tomala, she wants a 10th. She's been here 20 times. Halftime, it's Bainbridge 7, Mercer Island 4. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with Lynn Porterfield interview here at halftime. You're watching the Washington State Schoolgirls Lacrosse Association 2018 Championship on STSPN. Halftime here at the Washington State Girls Lacrosse Championship. Bainbridge right now on top 7-4. I'm joined Lynn Porterfield, the regional director from U.S. Lacrosse. You run everything in the West, right, Lynn?
That's it. Everything. Everything in the West. That's me. No.
So you are responsible. I wanted to thanks for taking some time here, but I want to talk a little bit about the broader game here in the state of Washington and what's happening almost on the West Coast. We got the Pac-12, which is very exciting.
Very exciting.
And now let's go down at the high school level what you see, because you get to watch and you're very involved back east, so you understand from U.S. Lacrosse what's happening here in the state of Washington, the level of play, the number of programs. There's a lot of growth. It's one of the fastest growing sports in the state and in the country. But tell us, what are the keys here? What's the big deal in 2018?
Well, the big deal for Washington State, I have to say, on the girls' side is we're really getting recognized nationally. A lot of that has to do with the performance of our national team, our Team Washington, that goes back to the Women's National Tournament every year. They've done an amazing job over the last 4 or 5 years. And it's really given Washington a great name nationally with college coaches, and we're getting a lot of recognition. The sport's growing by double digits here in Washington State. Oregon is growing as well. Northern California, for the most part, too. But I'm just kind of thinking the whole West region. Lots of stuff happening with Pac-12. That's very exciting to have that level of college available to the girls. Lots of states starting to get sanctioned. It's just the West is really growing overall. Lacrosse participation across the country is still growing, but it's a
Not
little
as much,
flatter.
yes.
In the other areas. But the West is still booming. And in Washington State specifically, I think for me it's really exciting to see it growing in the outlying areas.
Yes.
Yeah. In the greater Puget Sound, Western Washington area is getting fairly mature, and you can see that tonight with the level of play here. But we're growing in Southwest Washington, especially on the girls' side. We're growing in the central part of the state, especially at the youth side, and that's starting to trickle up to high school. And Spokane has a lot of high school teams now. They have a very large Spokane Youth Lacrosse League. Actually, they're having their Lax Fest end-of-season tournament tomorrow that I'm heading over to in the morning.
You got a lot of frequent flyer and a lot of windshield time. You're always on the move. Lynn Porterfield with us here from U.S. Lacrosse, regional director. We had the opportunity to go down and to Sumner, which is in the south end. There's a lot going on in the south end. I think they're relatively close, if I could prognosticate, to kind of punching through and getting to that play. They make the playoffs, but they just don't have the maturity as the other parts of the state and also even the Puget Sound area. Yeah. What was so exciting, they were playing Puyallup. It was a big rivalry. Mm-hmm. The stand, they play at the high school there, and the stands were almost full. The excitement, it was like the parking lot, you couldn't find a parking spot. It was really exciting to see that for high school girls lacrosse.
It's a big deal, and I think part of the deal there is they have tremendous school support in the South Sound. Bethel School District, Sumner, Bonnie Lake, White River, Auburn, those districts and those ADs at those districts are very supportive, and they treat girls lacrosse like a school sport. Well, it really is. And we're seeing that happen more and more. And I think that is helping to grow. The youth side of things is really where it's at, and we're starting to get some movement on the youth side down there. And also down in Southwest Washington, I'll mention again, we've got, I think, 3 girls' high school teams happening. And again, I'm mentioning a lot of girls. Of course, there's boys stuff going on out there too. But we are at the girls' championships. Yes. I do both. But yeah. So no, you're absolutely right. It's happening, and it's happening in more and more places outside the greater Puget Sound area.
And
so
I'll let you go on this. With growth comes growing pains. It's almost like you're a startup. So your referees, officials, always a strain. The parents, the communities, the schools, everything. It's your one chance. Give a shout out. What do you want? Volunteer, right?
Volunteers, yeah. Become an official on the girls' side. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many officials we need, and of course I am an official. So
that's right.
If I can do it, anybody can do it. That's my pitch.
And how would they do that? At WSLAX.org?
Actually, they can go to WWLOA WWW.org. It's the Washington Women's Lacrosse Officials Association, and they can train you. You get paid. It's a great way to stay in
by
shape.
the way.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm not getting rich, but you know.
All right. Well,
No, it's great. So yeah, they definitely need volunteers, and officiating is top of the list.
thank you, Lynn, for coming out.
Thank you,
Thank you
Scott.
for all you've done over the years of the state of Washington and
Thank
lacrosse
you.
in general, but obviously, especially the girls.
Thank you.
All right, we will be
Keep
back
going.
with the second half of the 2018 championship. Bainbridge up 7-4 over Mercer Island. Second half after this. Back here, 25 minutes on the clock for the second half of the 2018 Girls Lacrosse State Championship. Scott Oshman, Brianna Roach with you, and we are right back at it. Brianna, you have gazed over the halftime, first half statistics. Anything really jump out at you?
Yeah, just in terms of draw controls here, we're looking at number 22, Chapman. She's had 4 draw controls of the 8 draw controls for the half. Now that's compared to 4 draw controls for that other team. So I think some momentum for that Bainbridge Island at the end of the first half with those draw controls is really going to make a difference here.
Brodsky loses it, then she gets in the middle of it. Now there's a scrum and Chapman's up with it. So draw controls always critical, like you said, Brianna. And the young lady with the ball right now, Chapman, she has been pretty brilliant here so far.
Now where Mercer Island has done a good job, they really managed Chapman in that first half. Chapman really only had 1 assist for the team, and she's the leading scorer and points for the team here on this Bainbridge Island team. They managed her, they contained her. She had 1 assist, so she didn't really have an opportunity to contribute that much offensively in the way of points.
Lead now 3 for Bainbridge. It's their biggest lead. Havel has 3 goals, and there's a whistle. They're going to call shooting space.
Havel had a great first half, 3 goals, 2 assists. She is contributing to this offense. She is a playmaker here, and she's done a lot for this team. So they've got to keep an eye on her this second half because she was a big offensive contributor before.
And just a sophomore, she sets up on the 8-meter free position, goes in, thinks about it, and now she'll set it back up.
Another noteworthy stat for this Bainbridge Island team is they had 5 out of 7 assisted goals. Now that's hard to stop. When you've got a full offense contributing to your offensive production, that's dynamic, and we've got to keep an eye on that this second half, and those assisted goals and seeing how many players are contributing to their offense.
Brodsky with the defense. She does lead and cause turnover for the Islanders, and Guerra with it on the near side here. Getting checked up there by Ruby, number 33. But here, Mercer Island, they get the ball back on the offensive side. Great work on the defense for the Islanders, and they're in business.
Now, Mercer Island first half, these guys had only 1 out of 4 assisted goals as compared to 5 out of 7 for that Bainbridge Island team. So they are depending on that dodging game for their offensive production. If Bainbridge Island can contain them there and force them to play that dodging game, then they're going to struggle with their offensive production here.
Guerra with the ball, number 2, driving to the right side, trying to find some space. Good defense there by Bainbridge Island. Bujanaga back around, and they'll get it out top. Brodsky working on that left side here against Sweeney. What a matchup. Fujinaga now.
Bainbridge Island, very disciplined defense here. They are only sliding when they need to, only supporting when they have to.
Guerra!
Great drive there.
Boy, she threads the needle, and Tessa Guerra finds the back of the net.
Yeah, a little bit late on that slide there for the defense for Bainbridge.
Tessa's first game tonight coming in 48. She is an absolute threat for this Mercer Island offense, and they cut it to within 2. 7-5 with 21:45 left to go in this state championship game. Tell you score on Twee Ortiz, the junior, and that's saying something. 83% save rate against Issaquah, 5 of 6. 73% in the big semifinal win. She's 12-0, all conference. Had 12 saves against Eastside Catholic.
Now Bainbridge Island switching up their drawer here. They got Collins on the draw instead of Chapman.
Guerra had it, but Chapman, the future Stanford Cardinal, comes up with it now. 50-50 on the ball, loose. Brodsky there. And Reevesman comes out of the pack.
Bainbridge Island ground ball. Bainbridge Island dominated the first half with those ground balls. They had 8 ground balls to Mercer Island's 2. So they are dominating that 50-50 space there with the ground ball game.
And every time I talk to coaches, and tonight was no different, both coaches mentioning the 50-50 ball as critical as the illegal contact. Julie Nordstrom, the junior defender for Mercer.
That's stick-to-body contact there. That's what that ref is calling, which is giving her a free shot to cage. Again, nice low save by their goalie there on Mercer Island.
Embar Jolu, she's looked at quite a few shots from number 2, Havel, and this one she stops and clears it out. We'll see if Mercer Island can safely elude.
Another contact foul here for Bainbridge Island.
Kate Wheeler, the senior defender, again an all-conference player with the ball, number 4. She gets it off. There's Nordstrom. Now they're still back there. Now trouble in that.
Oh.
Chapman right there.
Aggressive play there.
Chapman one-on-one. That's too easy.
Great aggressive play there by Chapman.
Her first goal of the contest, I believe.
That's right.
And it was all Chapman.
That's right. She is a force out of transition. Great speed, great aggression. When she gets going, she's hard to stop.
15 caused turnovers coming into tonight, and that a big one. That is DIY work right there. Do it all.
That's right.
She came in. She saw a moment where they had trouble with a catch. Great check there. Nice clean check. Picked it up and put it in, and we're back to 8-5 here with 20-11 in this state championship game.
Now Mercer Island playing defensive off the draw. They're playing 5 back where they have the option to play 4.
Brodsky gets it on the draw control, draws the whistle there, Chapman, and she'll end up within her stick. And here's Fujinaga with it now on the right side, gets it back to the younger Brodsky. Number 30, Emma Brodsky, the freshman. She had a huge assist Tuesday night in that win to start it off.
You can see here an adjustment that Bainbridge Island team has made. They're starting to play a much more aggressive defense. So they're putting pressure on the ball. They're putting pressure on the ball carrier. They're pressuring the ball behind. They are attempting to force some offensive errors here on this Bainbridge Island team, on this Mercer Island team, excuse me. So you can see they're
Underwood
coming out.
Comes out, yep.
Out.
Much more extended defense, and she's giving her all the business right there. And there's going to get rung up. Nina Davis, the defender, number 11, the junior. You're absolutely right. They are extending that defense. Brodsky now in the right corner with the ball.
Now this is an attempt, I think, to provide some shorter offensive possessions. Oh,
Brodsky!
great take. Great take around the crease. And that's what happens when you pressure out. That's the risk that you run when you do pressure that player behind at X, is that if they take you, they've got a lane to cage. Whereas in that first half, they were sitting back and allowing those players behind at X. Now they're extending, leaving themselves vulnerable a bit to those 1v1s.
Brodsky there, fake high, went there, changed her level. Always they talk about that. Great goalies, you got to change your level. And Katie Brodsky, the future Sun Devil, puts it through, and we're back to a 2-goal lead for Bainbridge Island. Largest lead tonight, and this is 3. And many coming into tonight, Brianna, thought Bainbridge Island might run away with this game. We're still early, it's 18:45, but
that's right.
Mercer Island giving everything they can. They have answered almost every time.
Be interesting to see how this Bainbridge Island's defensive adjustment will match up with the offense that Mercer Island team is looking to run, which is a slow, methodical, looking for those good opportunities in tight. It's going to be a big pace changer here with that more aggressive style defense.
Guerra picks it up for Mercer Island. She'll wait for teammates as Hannah drives down, number 35. Now on the far left side, Katie Brodsky. She's got 2 goals tonight. Played on this field in the semifinals 3 years ago as a freshman. Knows a lot of the kids play together and compete against each other in the off season. Head coach for Mercer Island, Lindsay Gillis, her 2nd year here, 5 years at Seattle Prep before that. Played on the East Coast. I asked her, did you ever play in a high school championship? She said, yeah, 4.
Yeah, these are both seasoned coaches. Both are very, very good coaches. It is definitely a good matchup between the two of these
Brodsky
women.
checking and seeing what the defense will give here as there's a pause. One of the things we talked about, Brianna, before we got on the air, there's a legal contact. Let's see.
Yeah, that's stick-to-body contact. She's going to get an 8-meter for that one.
Fujinaga,
great
it's
save.
saved and rolls, and Twee gets it before it rolls out of the circle there. Good job. And Bainbridge, nicely played defense there. Twee Ortiz gets it out. Now Mercer Island have to hustle. Not a lot of depth on either. Well, they don't play. They might have a lot of depth, but not a lot of kids off the bench here for either team. King now. Eleanor has it. She will wait for reinforcements. When it gets to Reebsman. Reebsman has a goal early in the first half. Gets it back out. Collins, no problem, no one around her.
Now they're still working in that face guard to take Chapman out of the game.
Finds King down under, right in front of the circle, and good pickup there by Chloe Mbarjolu. She's been tremendous tonight. Both goalies have played well.
Yes, they have.
As getting down, watch out, about to get trail checked, and Julia Nordstrom there felt footsteps. You're a midi. You love doing that, didn't you?
That's right.
Was that the trail check? Was that your signature? Playing for
Good
the Blue
pressure.
Jays.
Good pressure on ball there. This looks like it's another contact foul, stick to body.
Maggie Sweeney getting called there. Nordstrom, 15, has it back behind the goal. She comes in. Ooh, pass almost
there.
broken up. Great job by Ruby. High area.
Now, Bainbridge Island is doing is they're not really letting this Mercer Island set up their offense and play that game they were playing in the first half, which I think may take them outside of their comfort zone a little bit here.
See what head coach Lindsay Gillis does to counter that move. As you mentioned, both these coaches, it's a chess match. One adjustment's going to meet another one. 14:56 left to go in this game. Katie Brodsky, the senior. It's one thing Lindsay Gillis, the head coach of Mercer Island, talked about. She has some seniors, but it'd be interesting to see how their younger kids react as Guerra handles the pressure there and gets it back out to Brodsky. Two-goal lead here for Bainbridge. The largest lead they've had is 3. We were tied at one time in the first half. Underwood drives in. She gets doubled, finds Fujinaga. Fujinaga looking to drive herself, and she will head to the hash on the 8-meter. Great job there by Grace Fujinaga, recognizing and quickly to the goal.
Now that's going to be another shooting space call there, and that's a tough call for that defender there. She's almost has to go to the ball, so she got stuck in shooting space there, but didn't have many other options in that scenario.
Fujinaga brings it back. Nothing really there. They crashed quickly. Claire Underwood, number 11, with the ball. She's got 1 goal tonight as well, 8-6. They played in the regular season at Mercer Island. Bainbridge beat them 14-7. It's the only Mercer Island loss this year. As Nordstrom again, or Claire Underwood rather,
another shooting space.
Draws, and she'll head to the 8-meter line on the shooting space call. 20 goals on the season here for the senior. High over, just in!
Unlucky, yeah.
Teardrop shot!
Oh, that was a good defensive play. She got in her hand. She tried to obstruct the shot and, dribbled in, and goal's a goal.
Goal for number 11.
Claire Underwood, the senior, I tell you what, that had some sauce on it, just enough little spin. Twee Ortiz went as high as she could, and it just dribbled right over there, a teardrop shot.
That's right.
And it's within one more time here, Brianna Roach. 13 left to go in this state championship.
And this is what you hope for. In a game like this, you want it to be a competitive game. You want it to be a tight game. These are 2 competitive teams, and, it's exciting. We got 13 minutes left.
Bainbridge last won the state title in 2012 over Lake Sammamish, and they have been itching to get back. They sat out in 2016, but they have dominated here in the state of Washington. Their 20th appearance. They've got 9 state championships under the tutelage of Tammy Tomalo, the Hall of Famer.
Great control by Chapman there.
Chapman plucks it out of the air. Chapman driving to the right. Slow flag up, and she will step to the line. I think Mackenzie Chapman says, all right, enough's enough.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Chapman starting to get a little bit more aggressive to cage here. She is she's probably not satisfied, wants some points on the board here, and she's going to start getting a little bit more aggressive out of transition, I think.
Checking the sphere there. Julia Nordstrom thought she had an opportunity as Chapman was hanging it.
Yeah.
Right back where she was, that 8-meter hash. She looks, she drives. Now she's going to shoot right into the net.
Great save there.
Embar Jolu, you got the Stanford future Cardinal coming down the pipe.
She has stood on her head in a couple of these saves here.
Only her 2nd year playing. She just doesn't know any better.
It is impressive. She is an athlete, and she is moving so well in cage right now.
44% rate. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Here's the composure here. This is a big moment. They've got a little bit of momentum here coming off that save. They got to make sure that they take care of this clear here and get the ball over on offense.
Trying to spread them out. She can sit there as long as she wants.
Dangerous thing here is that they're really just eating time off the clock.
Yeah.
So if they don't go out and get on that ball soon, this is going to be a tight game.
Delicate balance to keep possession and eat clock versus aggressive attack and trying to get your shots on goal. Chloe Embarjolu, just a sophomore, 14-1, that only loss versus Bainbridge. She was 5-19 on that night and lost. Now she backs up. The crowd starts to get into it. She's looking for a window. This is, again, she knows. She floats it, and she gets it safely into the stick of Tessa Guerra.
Great composure
no,
there.
check that. I'm sorry. That's Ellie Sula. Sula carrying it down. Great job there by the junior defender, Ellie Sula, in a very tenuous moment.
Now you can see this Mercer Island team, their players saying, slow it down, relax, relax. Bainbridge now sitting back a little bit. This may work in Mercer Island's favor. If they eat some time off this clock, we're winding down now. We got about 10 minutes here. That's gonna be less opportunities for Bainbridge to have some offensive possessions.
Now they double. Guerra gets it off to Brodsky. Katie. Chapman right next to her. Grace Fujinaga, there was a two-man play. Brodsky wants it, she shoots it, scores!
Wow, that was a great play inside. The vision that you gotta have to make that pass in tight, the confidence you've gotta have to make that tight under a pressure situation, that is an impressive play.
They tie it up at 9:49. Grace Fujinaga just waited the perfect amount, and then Katie Brodsky, she ripped it top right shelf. What a game.
Now this is going to be a big draw here. We'll see who these two teams put forward to square off on the draw. It looks like Bainbridge is going to have Collins take the draw for them.
And they have Tessa Guerra. Now the other adjustment here, you have Fujinaga on the circle and Brodsky there up against Chapman.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup. They're both good athletes. They're both speedy. They've got some power.
It goes to the Brodsky side, and she gets it.
Wow, Katie Brodsky there.
Clean check.
Chapman. Yeah, I think Chapman's gonna have a fire in her these next 9 minutes.
King with the ball on the far right side. Now she's looking at almost getting trail check there. She hangs on to it. What a defensive play by Mackenzie Chapman. As Bainbridge just trying to calm the crowd and everything down here. They're going to settle a little bit.
Mercer Island still in that face guard here. Chapman seems to be pulled out of the offensive play. She's getting engaged now. Looks like she's trying to get engaged on ball. Wow.
What a catch and a shot! There. Maggie Sweeney goes up. It's almost an alley-oop. An unbelievable catch.
Wow, that was a great two-man game right there. Now that's what's tough when you're in a face guard is you don't have any responsibilities to slide or to help or to support. So if you do run those picks and you pick on ball and you pick off ball, things open up, and that's exactly what happened there. That was a really strategic play by Bainbridge Island to engage that face guard player Chapman in that play and open that inside player up.
Kendall Havel, the sophomore midi, number 4 tonight. She had 3 goals last year in this championship with a loss to Eastside Catholic, and they are up by 1 with 8:55 left to go. She's going to talk to her teammate Maggie Sweeney again with the other assist, and Brodsky comes up, and now she's going to watch it. As she got taken, look behind her, here's Brodsky. She in the crease, makes and shoots!
Coming up with a draw control, pushing it to cage, that is confidence there.
There's a call.
Oh, there's a call, let's see what it is.
Oh my, Jeanette Wake is gonna call a yellow card. And they're going to say dangerous propelling. I don't know. Propelling. My goodness.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough call.
Let's take another look at that. Here we go. I don't know. That's tough. She goes crease side there.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough call. We're going to have to watch the replay on that one.
It's always interesting. You're trying to look off your defender a little bit.
That's right.
And then she has such
gain space from your defender, and that's what she was looking to do.
She has such a quick release. And
yeah, I think what they're calling it is likely dangerous follow through that defensive player when she stepped back to get that space from her defender. I think what's in question here is did she follow through into the path of the defender?
Well, more importantly, obviously the goal coming off and a chance there to tie it up one more time as there's a loose ball in the midfield. Is number 14, your phenom, is sitting for 2 minutes at a penalty for a yellow card.
And this is going to give this Bainbridge Island team a man-up opportunity here.
Mercer Island, they have had their yellow cards. There was 8 yellow cards amongst the two teams on Tuesday night for them to get here in that 9-8 win over Snohomish. Katie Brodsky's had a few this year. But we'll see what that means. Bainbridge now up by 1 again as there's a whistle on the field.
Likely they're going to call 3 seconds there. The inside defender. Let's see. Yeah, 3 seconds call. So, again, not marking an offensive player within a 6 length.
Hannah Tiscornia there, the freshman. Coming back out, now you have Sweeney. The assist machine. Finds King. King drives. Now she'll step back. Almost lost her footing. 7:12 left to go in the state championship game. We were tied. Inside, King finds the net. Eleanor King, her second goal tonight.
Wow. Great look inside. Patience on the offensive end there.
Her second goal of the night, Maggie Sweeney with the assist.
And just, we were talking about, and there's a timeout, it looks like, on the field. As we take a break, Brianna, we talk about the advantage for Mercer Island is they can beat you so many ways with so many players. Bainbridge, if you look at it, maybe you're focused on Chapman, you're focused on Sweeney. Eleanor King, Havel, you're focused on Havel, it's 4. Eleanor King, 2 goals.
These are both relatively, they're well-balanced offenses, and that's a hard, when they're that dynamic and there's that many players contributing, it can be hard to shut them down. I think for this Bainbridge Island team, just the sheer number of assisted goals, I think, is what's going to be hard to manage in these next 7 minutes, as they have so many players contributing. Whereas Mercer Island has struggled a little bit in us having that assist-based offense. So as long as they can contain them 1v1 and they can contain those dodges from up top and they can force some bad angle shots, then they can curb their offensive production. That
was a man-up goal as Katie Brodsky hit with the dangerous follow-through yellow card on her last goal. Otherwise, the lead would be just 1. But we're at 10-8. There's a timeout on the field. We'll take a quick break ourselves. We'll be back right after this. You're watching the High School Girls State Championship on STSPN. Saw the crowd here. What an exciting game. 7:03 left. Scott Oshman, Brianna Roach here with you. I tell you, we've had a tie with 9:49 left. Katie Brodsky, 23 or so seconds left, 28 seconds left on her yellow card. And Mercer Island has given Bainbridge everything they can handle. Brianna, you've coached a lot of games, assistant head coach here, or associate head coach at UMass for many years, Lakeside. What is head coach Lindsay Gillis talking to her girls in Mercer Island there in that huddle?
I think for them, they've got to capitalize, like we've talked about all game. They've got to capitalize on the 50-50s. They've got to really come up with a couple of these draw controls. And I think as long as Bainbridge doesn't come out and play them, they've actually got some time where they could run some of these longer offensive possessions and get some quality looks to Cage.
Draw controls critical, and you have the second highest draw controller on the sidelines right now, and Katie Brodsky,
That's right.
107 coming into tonight's contest.
Now
2-goal lead.
That's going to hurt them here. That Chapman-Brodsky matchup on the circle, that was a pretty dynamic duo there. We've got Fujinagi here lined up against Chapman, also a great athlete. Let's see how they play out.
Fujinaga has it in her stick, then it leaves it. She picks it up, and Grace
Great
Fujinaga.
job.
And Sering Short, the far official there, is calling, and there's a stoppage of play, and we'll see if there was a violation. And here we go again. Grace, what a hustle play there, a critical moment, and she has been coming up huge in these playoffs. Down by 2 goals.
Now Mercer Island playing, offsides by the Bainbridge Island there.
As Brodsky comes back on, as they're even now.
Now Mercer Island's playing a pretty dynamic off-ball game, which is what you want to do against fast slide D here. So Bainbridge Island is fast sliding in certain scenarios. If you can distract them off ball and look for some inside opportunities, you're going to have some good looks and high percentage shots there.
Tiscornia coming through, and she draws a shooting space violation, and the freshman, Hannah, she steps to the line, down 2 goals, 5:45 left.
That's a big 8-meter for them.
Grace Fujinaga has been there a couple times. Hannah, she thinks twice about it. Wisely, the freshman pulls it back out to Grace Fujinaga. Nickname Fuj. Hannah now two games. Tries to drop it off. That was a scary moment there for Mercer Island. Now,
that's almost a turnover there.
head coach Lindsay Gillis giving instructions here. Tessa Guerra with the ball, top. Back over. Grace Fujinaga driving in, and she draws the foul as she loses a stick. Edith Harris.
This is the time to be aggressive to Cage. There's 5 minutes left. They're down by 2. She's got to push in on that shot there to try and draw that foul and get that 8-meter shot. Now it looks like there's a yellow card.
Oh my goodness. They are calling a yellow card. That's on number 12 for Bainbridge, King.
Yeah.
Eleanor King, the sophomore. Bainbridge for the season, Brianna, they only had 5 yellow cards the entire season. So man-up opportunity here for Grace Fujinaga. Top hash, center hash. She's had so much practice.
Big goal for these guys. They needed that.
What a bouncer.
Wow.
Grace Fujinaga, the junior, ice cold in her veins.
That's right.
And that's the other one, center hash. She wins it in overtime.
That's tough.
She's got 3 goals tonight.
That's right.
And we have a 1-goal lead for Bainbridge Island with under 5 to go. We'll have a player of the game afterwards with an interview on the field. And here we go. Center draw. Brodsky now matched up with Havel. Havel gets the inside and she gets it.
Great draw by Havel there.
Havel with 4 goals in this championship game. Ball on the far side, now flips it over to the senior Maggie Sweeney.
So they're man up here on this defensive possession.
Just trying to kill it.
So they're trying to pressure out, trying to get a double on ball, force an error on this team here.
Havel.
Giving her a dodging lane there. Let's see how this plays out. So it looks like Bainbridge Island trying to work it around. Now with Mercer Island stretched out so wide, they may be able to get to cage.
Mercer Island.
I think denying Chapman's the right thing to do here, especially when a defense is extended like this. If Chapman gets the ball, she's got some power, she's got some speed, she'll get to cage. They got to deny her the ball on this offensive man down.
Grace Fujinaga on 22 and white. Like you said, she knows everything, every move she makes. As Sweeney on the far side trying to kill this penalty. Eleanor King with a yellow card sitting in there. On the far side, meanwhile, it's 3:31 left to go in this championship game, guarding a 1-goal lead.
Now it looks like Bainbridge is looking to kill some time here, wait until they're man up again.
Not a stall. In many cases, it is until their player is released.
Now this is the biggest difference between the high school game and the college game. At the college game, we've got a 90-second possession clock, where there is no possession clock here at this high school level.
And now here it comes, we're back even, and
timeout.
With 2:50 left to go, the Hall of Famer, she's won 9. Can she win the Big Ten? She's got 2:47 left. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the State Girls Championship on STSPN. 2 minutes, 52 seconds left. Who's going to be the 2018 championship here in the state of Washington Girls High School Lacrosse? Text somebody, call somebody, DM somebody, get them to STSPN. And here we go. Kendall Havel with the ball. Number 2 in white coming around the back. She's going to keep it. Reverse complete field right here. And Maggie Sweeney, usually the general, gets it over to Collins, number 6 on the far side. 2:25 left. 1 goal lead here for the Spartans from Bainbridge Island.
Looks like Bainbridge is killing some time here. Mercer Island's coming out, pressuring them, playing on them. They may have to think about it if they are stalling, some tactics on how to break a stall, whether it's pulling the goalie out and having her play a player or setting some players up on the 30 strategically to try and do a surprise double, but they may be having to think about some of those tactics right now.
Now we're under 2 minutes. Now the official clock is taken down at the table. There's always a challenge for the coaches and the players, understanding exactly how much time is left. As the far side of the field, Kendall Havel again, Sula on her for Mercer Island, trying to get something going. Mercer Island dying by a goal. Now time also
so we've got
working against them.
We've got 1 timeout left in this game, and that's Mercer Island, but they've got to get possession in order to call that. So if they can cause turnover here, they've got an opportunity to get one last play call in.
Reminder, we'll have an interview with our player of the game on the field afterwards.
So 1 minute and 18 seconds left on the clock. That's still a pretty decent amount of time. I mean, enough to score a goal for Mercer Island here. They just got to cause a turnover.
And the sophomore being charged with taking care of the ball, number 2, Kendall Havel. Call there, crossing the sphere. Katie Brodsky, boy, she wants it, the senior. Havel doing a lot of the heavy lifting here as they stall, try and keep the ball and run this out with a 1-goal lead.
Oh, great.
Hannah gets it down!
Oh, wow.
Discordia
That's exactly
picked
what
up
they need.
Underwood.
Wow, that is exactly what this Mercer Island team needed.
The freshman comes up with the biggest cause turnover of her life.
Yeah, and that's a tough part about stalling and not being able to go to cage is that there's still enough time. If you cause a turnover, there's enough time for a goal, and this is the right time to call a timeout.
45 seconds left to go. Can they tie it?
Wow.
They're coming off an overtime win. We'll catch our breath. Do not go anywhere. State championship, 45 seconds left on STSPN. 45 seconds left to go. Scott Oshman, Brianna Roach. Brianna, what is your offensive call here if you're Mercer Island to tie this up with 45 seconds left? No timeouts for either team left.
Yeah, I think offensively what they need to do is if they can work either a 2 or 3-man game on the ball side and then get some really good off-ball movement, there's going to be some opportunities off-ball because this defense is going to be focused on the on-ball players.
Claire Underwood.
Oh, wow. What an athletic
She
move
moves
there.
everything there.
Man.
She tries to get down.
The effort there, you can tell she wants it. She is in the game. That is impressive.
That's a yellow card on Mackenzie Chapman.
See, that's tough. That's going to be tough for the end of the game, man down.
Oh my goodness.
So 36 seconds left on the clock.
Underwood with the ball. Claire.
They're man up here. They've got a man up opportunity. They got to keep the ball in the air, move the ball, and look for some of those openings to move up, open up.
Fujinaga gets it over. Behind the cage. Where's Brodsky?
It's going to be some of these backside opportunities.
You got to get it to Katie Brodsky.
Okay.
She's got the ball.
Good double on ball. Oh,
big
great deep
stick
play.
in the middle, and Havel breaks it up.
Now these guys really got to put on a full. Oh wow! Time runs out.
And that's it. Unbelievable! Wow. Bainbridge Island, their 10th state championship.
And that's why they say defense win championships. That was a big defensive play for them to be able to hold them to that in the final hour. Impressive showing by both teams, though, I'll tell you.
What a game. Mercer Island gave them everything they had. They had the ball opportunity, man-up position, and what a defensive play there by Bainbridge. Katie Brodsky, the right kid with the right time, and the ball right in her stick, and what a crushing loss for MI here. And we're going to head down to the field as Bainbridge Island. They win their 10th state championship. Congratulations to them and Mercer Island. We'll go down and get your player of the games, our MVP, right after this. Do not go away.
Trophy presentation, which will be taking place
Co-player of the games for Bainbridge Island is going to be Mackenzie Chapman, number 22, and Kendall Havel, number 2. And we're getting them brought over in just a minute. Chapman goes out on a penalty, a yellow card, with 25 seconds or so left. And Mercer Island with the ball with the man-up situation, unbelievable. And a big... And a big play. I got a kid. Yeah, I got a kid. There's Mackenzie Chapman holding up the state trophy. The senior heading to Stanford next year. I had a gentleman here, he thought I was the PA announcer. He's like, your microphone's not on. It's not on. We're waiting for Mackenzie Chapman. I hope she's not too tired lifting up that huge trophy. Our co-MVPs with Kendall Havel, the sophomore. Come on over. Look right up there to the camera on STSPN here. Well, Mackenzie, I remember you've been playing all 4 years you've been starting.
Yeah.
It's been since 2012. You get a yellow card with 25 seconds left. Mercer Island has the ball. What are you thinking at that moment?
Well, I wasn't thinking a lot, honestly. Oh God, I don't know what to say. Well, I mean, I knew that our team was going to handle it. She's a sophomore. What the heck? And we just totally rallied around each other. At that point, I was like, you know what? We've got this in the bag. This is our game. We worked so hard this season that there was no stopping us. No stopping us.
We'll get to her in a second. Don't you bother. We have Kendall Havel here, number 2. Mackenzie, you fought all night long. You guys beat this team relatively soundly at Mercer Island. You had a pretty easy victory over a great Bellevue team to semifinals. You guys were challenged. They took you absolutely to the line. And the big thing I want to talk to you about is you had 6 draw controls tonight. Talk about that.
Wow, I didn't realize it was 6. They were face guarding me, and you have to give a lot of credit to Mercer because they had a fantastic game plan going to this game. They totally changed it up from the last game. I just was focused on the draw. I knew that we need the ball, so that's kind of what it came down to at that point.
All right, switch places here. Let's get the sophomore before we get the shirts. I tell you what, is your sister here? Is Kara here tonight? Right over there?
The loud one.
She's going to say, taught her everything she knows.
She did.
Kendall Havel, 4 goals tonight. But I tell you what, when you were up 1 goal and you needed to hold on to possession, who did they give the ball? Kendall Havel. Talk about tonight and just the flow. You were feeling it, ripping it.
I just knew we had to hold on to the ball for as long as we could, and I just kept thinking back, like all the practices where we stayed so late, just running those extra sprints, and I knew it had to pay off at some point, and it did. We were able to hold on to it and play good defense.
And once again, we could give obviously a lot of congratulations. Maggie Sweeney, she has got eyes every side of her head. She found you several times tonight. Talk about the senior Sweeney.
She's amazing. I couldn't ask for a better 2 role models here. Mac and Maggie, we wouldn't be here without them. They're amazing. I don't have words.
Well, take the shirts. Goals tonight. Mackenzie, Mac, they say, you only had 1 goal. Oh, well. 6 caused turnovers, a tremendous win tonight. Bainbridge Island, put up the shirts, wave to the camera. You guys are the 2018 state champions tonight. That brings it back to the island, Bainbridge Island. Congratulations. Go have fun with the teammates. If you can get Tammy Tomala, maybe we'll talk to her, but if not, I don't know. 10-9, the final right here tonight. I want to thank everybody at STSPN, everybody for Washington Schoolgirls Lacrosse Association for putting on this broadcast tonight. My partner tonight, Brianna Roach, great job by her. Everybody, Todd Elvig, the executive producer and 5-tool player. Thank you. 10-9, Bainbridge Island over Mercer Island tonight. The Spartans, your 2018 state championship. Have a good night, everybody.